Welcome to another herping video, where this time we're doing some mangrove herping on the coasts around Darwin. I don't actually think I filmed an intro to this video, so I thought I'd just do this voiceover, and now we'll jump straight into the herping.
I think I've spotted what I'm looking for here. Yep, that's one, and that is a really nice one. That is the aptly named white-spotted mangrove snake, or crab-eating snake. The first fordonia I've found. What a beautiful snake. I don't know how quick these things are to vanish, but I'm risking getting a bit of footage for you now. That's actually a beautiful snake. Do you know what I might even try and do is just some in-situ shots exactly where he is. I was not prepared for how nice that is. That is a belting snake. Well, I have to say, I am thoroughly impressed with this snake. I really am. That is an awesome looking snake. These snakes actually have a distribution across a lot of northern Australian coastline where this mangrove habitat is. Just like a lot of mangrove occupying snakes, they'll move through these routes at low tide, and they're looking for, mainly mangrove snakes I think eat fish. These no doubt do take fish, but crabs is a specific part of their diet. That's why they're known as the crab-eating snake, as well as the white-bellied mangrove snake. And they are quite variable, so it's possible I've just got onto a particularly nice looking specimen, but that's a beautiful snake. Rear-fanged snake. Never obviously been bitten by one. Can't speak on any form of venom toxicity, but I'm sure someone's managed to get bitten by one before. This one is really placid and docile. We've taken up a bit of his time, so now I'm just gonna leave him be. Alright, we've done some pictures, which I will pop in now, and we're just gonna let this snake cruise off and go back to feeding in the mangroves. I shouldn't have sounded so underwhelmed at this snake at first, because to be honest, I know what mangrove herping's like. I've done it before. It is unbelievably hot. I am dripping right now. You get caked in mud, there's loads of mosquitoes, and it's never usually that relaxing of an experience, to be honest with you, but this has made it all worthwhile. That is actually a fantastic snake. I'm really pleased that I got to see one of these, and I'm really glad that I came out to find one. So let's carry on and see if we can find the other target, the bockadam, or if we can find some more of these so I can show you the variation, because these come in a variety of colours and sizes. Great stuff. Well, there's not much technique to this. I'm just sort of walking in the mangroves and I'm literally seeing him. I mean, that one, just let him cruise off, but you just see him sort of in the edges of these mangroves, just foraging along for crabs and fish, of which there's many on land, and mud skippers and gobies and stuff will also be a good prey item for them. And that's pretty much all I'm doing, and it is not taking me long to find these snakes. I haven't found a cerberus yet, a bockadam, so that's the next target. Let's see if we can find one of them. I've literally only walked 50 metres since that last one, less than 100 metres. And I've got another one, and look at this one. This one's got some reds on him, some oranges, way more black, but it's still got the white speckling along it. This is a fantastic spot for these snakes. They're really abundant here, and I'm amazed to see such great morphology from mangrove dwelling snakes. Usually they're very, to be cryptic in a mangrove environment. Mangrove pit vipers and some of the Thai Malay species that I've seen that occupy mangroves are so brown and grey, and understandably so, but these are so striking. I can tell that I'm gushing at them a bit, but they are really interesting snakes. Right, well, that one sat beautifully for photos. You couldn't ask for a much better photography subject than that. We've seen the beautiful markings on this one now, so let's see if we can find some more. Loving this. Glad I come down and got muddy. One other little tip I will give you, and I don't want to sound like I'm teaching people to suck eggs, because most Aussies, any Aussies watching this will obviously know more about it than me, but of course be croc safe in environments like this. And that doesn't mean just keep an eye, it also means know your tides. Make sure you're not going to get cut off by a flooding tide. I'd actually been advised to search for these at mid-tide, but I've come out an hour before low. And I always prefer being that little bit before low tide, because you've just got that buffer. If anything's going wrong, you got a little bit of time where it's dropping away from you. And And if you do get stuck out longer than that, then you've still got that flood. But I'm sure we will be fine in this case. This is great fun. Fordonia number 3, guys. Another completely different pattern. This one, brown on top with a completely longitudinal white stripe down the flank. These are amazing snakes. I'm really glad I'm getting to show you some of these. There he is, just foraging, searching through these little pools for any unlucky crabs or fish that get in his way. I think I'll just leave this one alone because I might take a quick picture, but when you see them actively foraging, you don't sort of want to stump their chances. And we've got another in quick succession. This one looks quite similar to that last one, being sort of chocolate on top with the white line down it. They don't seem phased at all by people. Like, you can just stroll up to them, whack a head torch on them, start filming them. They're really not bothered. There he goes. Another one that didn't mind stopping still for a few photos. I keep saying let's get on and keep herping, but at this point I'm literally going from one snake to another. This video is going to be long. I'm wondering, can't all these be snake tracks? Surely not. But they might be, you know. I'm a long way after high tide. This has been dry for a while, so maybe they are, unless I'm being daft and something else responsible for them. Someone will no doubt let me know if I am. But the other thing is, I would love to claim I'm being particularly skillful spotting these things in the mangroves, but to be honest with you, they stand out like a sore thumb. They're really easy to spot, especially in the head torch shine. They're way obviously smoother and darker than everything else. I'm gonna keep going. That is saltwater eye shine, saltwater crocodile eye shine. Just if I can, I'm not gonna. It's not shining back on video. You might be able to see it, and I just can't see it on the little phone screen. But no way that's a freshie with distance like that between the eyes. That is, yeah. I'm not gonna try and get a photo or anything. I'm just gonna back away from the water a little bit. That is exactly why you have to be careful, especially when you're on your own, like I always am. There is nobody that will know what's happened to you. So, not to dramatise things, but worth saying a word of caution. Probably doesn't look it, but it closes in quite tight up there. And don't really fancy being on my hands and knees in this. I think we're going to go back the way we came. And if we don't see one on the way back, we'll have to try a different spot for cerberus. But really, I cannot complain at all at those, I think 4 fordonia we're up to now, crab-eating snakes. And no doubt we'll find one on the way back. Well, we did find one on the way back. So that's 5 individuals tonight. I'm not even going to try and photograph this one because I've only got a third of him. But I can't stop finding them. I was literally just nearly back to the car and I thought this bit is probably above the tide line for neap tides. Didn't think I'd get any more. Oh, we've got another one. Number 6. So 6 of these for no cerberus. That's interesting, because I actually thought these would be the less abundant species. So I've proved myself wrong on that one. Cerberus may be, of course, more abundant in the area, but these conditions are certainly seeming to favour fordonia. Let's leave this one foraging around, hope he gets a meal, and maybe check out this other location. Right, we're in our second spot, and it looks good. Hopefully we can find some bockadams here. I reckon they will show a stronger affinity to water than we saw from those fordonia. In my experience, when I've been in Southeast Asia and I've seen the dog-faced water snake, they've always been in water, realistically. So let's see if we can repeat the findings here. Well, my trail just got way easier. Didn't realise it was a boardwalk. That's going to make life easier. It might even be in the footage. I was literally just filming this bit saying it'll make life easier. And we're on to the first snake. Just spotted that as I finished that. I was thinking, how embarrassing would it be if that was in my little voiceover bit and I never saw it. This is another fordonialeucobalia, another white-spotted mangrove snake, and he looks like he might even have found something down that hole. But because we've seen plenty of these before, I'm going to carry on and see if I can get the other species. I was just doing a bit of film to say, look at the size of that mud crab there. I don't even know if you can see him. Hold on. Just trying to show that mud crab there. Looked on the other side of the bridge, and we've got one cerberus there and another beautiful individual right there. The only problem is they are a little bit inaccessible. Don't know if you know if that's focusing. There's actually a third one there. There's 3 of these here. There we go, a little bit of a better look at this awesome snake. This has actually not been my kind of herping usually, but I've really enjoyed tonight, and these are really interesting snakes. This is a similar snake, of course, in terms of the niche it inhabits as the fordonia we were looking at, the mangrove snakes, or the crab-eating snakes. This is cerberusaustralis. It's called either just the bockadam or the Australian bockadam, you call it. It also will eat fish and crabs in the mangroves here. They're strong swimmers. Like I say, I do think they show a little bit more of an affinity to water. The fordonia seem to live sort of above the low tide line, in holes, whereas these you'll more likely see in the water. They're strong swimmers. I think they probably climb less than the fordonia. I'm not 100% sure on that. And this is an adult specimen, and this is a really, really nice one as well, actually. By far the nicest cerberus that I've ever seen. And he's sitting really nice for photography. So I'm really glad I've got to show you another belting Australian mangrove dwelling snake. Well, I'll show you the few shots that I managed with this snake, but as you can see, it's not been hard to photograph at all. But this is a nice breeding adult, so we're going to make sure we get it right back in the river feeding, because it's a great night for it.
The next night I actually went to another wetland area targeting arafurafilesnakes, and because it isn't really enough for its own video, I thought I'd include it here. So sorry if this seems a bit disjointed, but the spectacle of file snakes I found was definitely worth showing you, as you'll see now.
Well, I think it's fair to say we found them. That is an amazing spectacle, the mother lode of the arafurafilesnakes. And you think that's a lot. If we just go over to the other side of this dam, we've got just as many over this side. It doesn't look at it, but the more you look, the more you see of these things. This is ridiculous. I'm going to try and get some pictures now.
These file snakes are native to northern Australia and New Guinea. They feed on fish such as eels and catfish, and the females, which get much larger than the males, give birth to up to 17 live young. I really struggled to get decent pics of this aggregation due to the shine off the water, and I'm just not the best photographer. So I've had to edit these heavily, but I just wanted to try and show the scale and the numbers of the snakes gathered here.
Here's a close look at one amongst the flies, a particularly nicely patterned one, and they feel the file snake name is so apt. The scalation is ridiculous. I'm going to try and get some shots, but it's it's a bit of a weird photo shoot, to be honest.
These snakes are of course aquatic and rarely leave the water, and only when they're pushing right up into the shallows like this will they end up on dry land. The snake in the previous clip I actually took back into the edge of the water because it looked pretty dried out. I'm actually not sure if a bird or something pulled it out, to be honest. Also here you can see the sexual dimorphism exhibited in the size difference between males and females. Check out the huge female running up the middle in this next clip.
Look at the size of some of these as well. Some are beautifully marked. Some are, these larger ones are duller, but they're climbing the walls. They're absolutely massing at the moment. And I felt the longer I stay here as well, I am being croc safe. I am keeping an eye out for anyone wondering, there are crocs here. But the longer I'm staying here, the more are turning up. It's insane.
They were the last snakes from that little section of the Northern Territory trip. So thank you if you've watched this far, and I'll see you in the next one.